on News Center 5.
Death threats against local cops.
The chilling demands the suspect made against this police department.
Caught on camera, driver's licenses for sale.
The R&B employee accused and who police say she targeted.
Medical marijuana legal in Massachusetts. The new fight brewing over which towns will host pot dispensaries.
I don't want a bunch of druggies in my town.
Cold weather continues to settle in. What Thanksgiving will look like.
Requiem for the Twinkie. Why the popular snack cake is history tonight.
You're watching WCVB TV Boston. This is News Center 5 at 11.
Email death threats. Beverly Hospital among the targets. Tonight, a North Shore woman under arrest. The 20-year-old suspect is accused of threatening to kill police officers and making bomb threats.
Investigators say she also tried to contact President Obama. 11 minutes of nonstop news begins with our Kimberly Bookman live in Beverly. Kimberly?
Bob, the first threat was to blow up the Beverly Police Department, which is tucked right behind this brick building right here. And police say it came from a woman who didn't even live a block away down this street in a group home. You can see the white building down there. A real role reversal for Beverly police this week. 9 officers, including the chief, say they are victims of a local woman's threat.
We had emails come in. They were threatening the lives of officers, specific officers, and to blow up the police station.
Investigators say the emails from a Gmail account began arriving Wednesday at 11 a.m. An hour and a half later, another email threatening to blow up the Beverly Hospital forces the facility into lockdown.
And certainly, anytime somebody threatens to blow a building up, you know, that's certainly something we take seriously.
A third email, 3 p.m. Wednesday, demands each officer drop $100 in the Beverly Library book drop box. Detectives monitor that spot and see 20-year-old Ashley Galvin. At 7:45 p.m., Beverly's fire chief gets an email threatening his life and says the station will get bombed. But it's not until afternoon on Thursday, when police get an email leading them back to the library, that the place is locked down and police arrest who they say is behind it. The same woman at the drop box, Ashley Galvin.
I know there's some of our staff members that are upset by this. I think in this case, she was probably, sort of disturbed and looking for attention. Maybe not really serious, but you don't know.
Police say they found no bombs and no one was hurt.
Well, she didn't think she was treated fairly by any of us, and that was her motivation for doing this.
And police say that the suspect did try to reach President Obama as well as the FBI and the governor. They have charged her. She was arraigned today, and she will be back in court November 26th for a dangerousness hearing. Reporting live from Beverly, Kimberly Bookman, News Center 5.
New at 11 tonight, an Andover woman could be the latest victim of the fungal meningitis outbreak linked to a local pharmacy. A steroid shot made at the New England Compounding Center, again suspected. Our Liam Martin is live outside the Framingham lab. And Liam, what do state investigators have to say tonight about this?
Well, Liz, this would, as you know, be the first case of this here in Massachusetts. You'll remember there were a number of tainted lots of drugs that were made here at NECC and then shipped out to pharmacies and hospitals across the country. Well, up to now, we believe that none of those drugs had made their way back into the drug supply here in Massachusetts. Well, now tonight it appears that might no longer be the case. The deadly outbreak that has rocked the medical community now could include the first victim from Massachusetts.
She was terribly ill. I think they were worried about her not making it.
News Center 5 spoke over the phone Friday night with the attorney for a 71-year-old Andover woman. She says she received steroid shots at a clinic in Lawrence and ended up hospitalized with fungal meningitis.
She's a letter from the facility telling her that she received NECC's steroids.
The State Department of Public Health confirmed to News Center 5 they are investigating the case, though they say none of the tainted lot from New England Compounding Center was distributed here in Massachusetts.
They just were incompetent in dealing with it.
This comes on the heels of congressional hearings this week focused on state oversight of NECC.
The Massachusetts State Board of Pharmacy had the clear authority to deal with this problem.
Lawmakers grilled federal and state officials about why the Massachusetts Pharmacy Board failed to address warnings that NECC was violating several rules,
including the Fifth Amendment to the United States Constitution.
This as the president of the company, Barry Cadden, refused to answer any questions for lawmakers invoking the Fifth Amendment.
This company was an absolute crooked operation, and they kill people.
All right, meantime, the sister company of NECC, Ameridose, has announced tonight that it will not open its doors until January. That's according to the Globe tonight. They were supposed to reopen Monday, but the state still has concerns about the cleanliness and the sterility of the drugs provided by that company. In Framingham, I'm Liam Martin, News Center 5.
Unless there's a sudden improvement, Boston Mayor Tom Menino could spend Thanksgiving in the hospital. His spokeswoman, Dot Joyce, said today the mayor will remain at Brigham and Women's Hospital indefinitely as doctors try to determine the source of his persistent back pain. He's been at the hospital for 3 weeks now. Joyce said the mayor was feeling a bit better today. And this is the weekend before Thanksgiving, and it looks like we're in for a pretty good stretch of weather, but it's cold out there tonight, Harvey.
It sure is, but we're losing the clouds. See them moving off to the east as we take a closer look. A few patchy ones around the Cape, so that bodes well for a lot of sun tomorrow. There will be a few clouds at times skirting the Cape, maybe southeastern Mass, but lots sunnier than it's been in recent days, but it is chilly. Now, Worcester's 1,000 feet up at the airport where it's 37, but it's colder downtown. And Boston and the coastline are in the 30s, but look, still low 40s in the Cape. But places like Bedford and Norwood are already down in the 20s. So is Orange. So tomorrow morning, waking up, if you're getting up around 6 and getting ready to head out, average temperature about 25 with a lot of frost in the suburbs, about 28 at 8 o'clock, up to 35 at 10 o'clock, but you do see the sunshine. I'll let you know about the rest of the weekend travel forecast and Thanksgiving itself in a couple of minutes. Liz?
All right, Harvey. Disturbing new information tonight about a local youth hockey coach charged with trying to lure underage boys online. We're learning of complaints that were made years ago. Anthony DeSilva is back in Florida and will face a judge in the morning. Our Mary Saladin is live in the newsroom with more from the mom who raised the red flag. Mary?
That's right, Liz. She is speaking out to warn other parents about the dangers of social networking now that her family has had a close call with an alleged sexual predator.
41-year-old Anthony DeSilva arriving at Florida's Polk County Jail. The junior hockey coach from Acushnet charged with trying to seduce 2 16-year-old Florida boys online. But in the end, he was really exchanging emails with Florida detectives after one of the real teen's moms, who monitors her son's Facebook, became suspicious.
I knew if he was trying to get in contact with my son, he was probably, obviously trying to do things to other kids. So I'm just very glad my son is safe.
And now one of DeSilva's former players has come forward, saying he left the team because of the coach's inappropriate advances. Alex Rivers telling our media partners at EnterpriseNews.com that his father even wrote a letter to USA Hockey in January 2011 to complain about the coach. In that letter, David Rivers told officials DeSilva had crawled into bed and asked his son to cuddle. The letter goes on to say DeSilva drank beer while driving the team bus and had players stay in his room on trips. The father telling officials, "My fear is these young men will become victim to this predator." But USA Hockey officials told News Center 5 they quickly turned that complaint over to local league officials who investigated but closed the case when they couldn't substantiate the claims. This Florida mom insisting it's parents who ultimately have to monitor and protect their kids.
You don't necessarily always want to be in their stuff, but in this day and age, I'm here to let you know, please be involved with your children. It is so important. And they might not exactly like you right now, but they're going to love you later for it.
And we reached out to Anthony DeSilva's attorney, but the Bristol County District Attorney tells us that he will be assigned one in Florida. DeSilva will appear in court at 9 a.m. tomorrow. In the newsroom, I'm Mary Saladin, News Center 5.
A Brookline teacher's aide is placed on unpaid leave following child porn charges. 32-year-old Benjamin Schwartz pled not guilty. According to prosecutors, Schwartz claimed that he had downloaded the child pornography accidentally. He told police that he decided to keep the, quote, disturbing stuff on his computer to help them track down the person who made it.
Former CIA Director David Petraeus calls the deadly raid on the U.S. consulate in Libya an al-Qaeda terrorist attack. This, according to closed-door testimony by Petraeus today to members of the House and Senate intelligence panels. Petraeus testified references to terrorist groups were removed from the public explanation of what happened so as not to tip them off that U.S. intelligence was trailing them. Tonight, President Obama has spoken to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu about the escalating violence in the Gaza Strip. Militant groups have launched rocket attacks against Israel, Israel responding with airstrikes of their own. The White House is urging diplomacy but supports Israel's right to self-defense. President Obama expressed regret for the civilians killed on both sides.
A Massachusetts RMV worker arrested, accused of taking bribes from illegal immigrants who wanted driver's licenses. At least one cash grab caught on camera. Our Pam Cross is live in Brighton with the fallout from the arrest. Pam?
You know, they are as good as gold. I'm talking about a Massachusetts driver's license. In this case, the suspect allegedly sold them for $2,000 a pop, some right here on the streets of Brighton. Just one catch, she never delivered.
She said that she had done it because the money was easy.
Prosecutors claim Adriana Ferrara took advantage of those like herself, immigrants. A naturalized citizen, the registry employee, allegedly took money from undocumented people, claiming she could get them driver's licenses.
After receiving the payment she requested, she then pressed the victims for additional payments over time.
The picture, Ferrara counting money. It was taken during a sting. Prosecutors claim she threatened to report immigrants who complained. That's no surprise to Heloisa Galvao, who works with immigrants and hears these stories each week.
If you say something, if you denounce me, I'm gonna turn you over to immigration.
That's an easy threat to make.
It is an easy threat. People become really easy prey because they are afraid. They live in shadows.
Ferrara was accused of bilking 5 people, but admitted to investigators it was more like 30. She said to have found her prey here at the Watertown RMV office, where she worked for 2 years, and in Brighton, where she lived among other immigrants.
When she failed to deliver as promised, she made threats to silence her victims, and she kept the money.
Investigators first became aware of her in 2009. Well known in this area, she used to work at the Brighton courthouse, and she was called a notario, someone who knew the legal system. Reporting live in Brighton, I'm Pam Cross.
Next on News Center 5.
Medical marijuana legal in Massachusetts. Now a new fight is brewing over which towns will host pot dispensaries.
I don't want a bunch of druggies in my town.
And we'll take a look across the country at travel weather for Thanksgiving and the Thanksgiving Day forecast.
Say it ain't so. The Twinkie is no more. Its maker is going out of business, taking hundreds of local jobs with it.
Monday on News Center 5's Eye Opener.
If you don't know this secret, you're practically guaranteed a ticket.
I'm going to reveal the streets where you are most likely to pay up big time.
What I see in the holiday forecast. Join us Monday starting at 4:30 a.m.
Most of the country looks great.
That's really
Storm
amazing.
is offshore and one around the Pacific Northwest, but for the most part looks really good. That's for Tuesday and Wednesday. So hopefully everybody's loved ones are going to get here when they should get here, and so on and so forth. And it really looks good right through Thanksgiving and even through next Friday. It's going to be turning windy and cold and probably during the actual weekend next weekend, maybe Saturday, Sunday, something like that.
I love what you've done with your turkey on the icon.
Oh yeah, I'm so talented.
Great.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Good night.
News Center 5, winner of the Emmy, the Edward R. Murrow, and National Headliner Award for Outstanding Newscast, the Associated Press News Station of the Year. There's an app for everything, but can you trust medical advice from a health app?
That's a really big question, particularly when it has healthcare implications.
Apps for pain, addiction, heart problems. App stores test the technology. Who tests the information?
These developers are only accountable to themselves. There's no safety check.
Team 5 investigates how to know if a health app will make good on its claims. Sunday at 11 on News Center 5.